There was a time we had a story of an 11-year-old boy who had been sexually molested to the point that maggots were coming from the anus. And the parent didn't know.
There is one neighbor in the house that now took advantage of the boy. Even when he left the compound, he bought a phone for this boy. She took the phone to all this and they now improvised and opened. That's why they saw everything. When he was in the house, he has been molesting this boy. Through the end also.
I have 2 girls. And it's funny because they can't go on holiday without me going with them.
Right now, I cannot take my child to a boarding house.
Never.
You have said that it has been a thing for years.
Yes.
And the people who were victims are parents,
Yeah.
grandparents. Is there something that erased their memory? Is there something that wipes their memory?
I'm not sure.
Or there's a question. There's a reason I'm asking this. Do they like? Is it like they lodge this memory somewhere and they forget when they become parents that this thing happened to me? There's a high chance it can happen to my kid.
For me, I feel like it's culture.
It's a silence culture.
Yeah, no, like it's culture in the sense that it wasn't anything then to them. Like it wasn't, if you were a victim back in the days, right? And everybody say, you are even the one they'll blame. They'll blame. Why did you go there? Why did you go there? So for a child at the time, you feel like, okay, the world will protect the male more. So who am I? I don't even have a say in this situation. So, and when you see that being practicalized, to you is the norm. So when nothing is going to change when you become a mother, because you also believe it's the norm. And if your child does it, you're also going to choose the child. Or, I mean, if your child becomes a victim, right, you're also going to choose. So it continues like that. But thank God for where we are now, where we are now talking about it. We are educating parents, the organizations like Ease, coming to the help of children who are victims. And I think we are on the right track, but we still have a whole lot more to do.
You said, you asked the question, is there something that has wiped parents' mind? And the truth is nothing has wiped their minds. In fact, those incidents are still as fresh as the first day it happened. But she mentioned she said a silence culture. My organization, we did a bit of research on the, depth of silence culture. Now, the silence culture grows deep into the governmental system. So if, for example, let me just put out an example. For some reason, she has a case. She was abused and she comes up and she talks about it and he lodges it in the police station, and swiftly the judiciary system picks it up and gets to see that the perpetrator is punished. And cases are not elongated for 5 to 10 years before, that particular incident is treated. I tell you that, that culture of hushing or keeping quiet about it will begin to break. So I feel it's a deeper thing than, it being wiped away. The silence culture is from, first of all, the home. Secondly, unfortunately, our government has aided that culture by not attending to such cases on time. And in most cases, just the cases die.
In one of these cases that this survey answers, she told her father, Daddy carried her, went to the school to talk to the mother of the child, and the mother denied it. Your child, I sent my child to your home. It's just like me sending my child to your home for a play date. And then I see a gun on the table. I'm taking my child out of there because I thought that place was a safe place for my child to. That's how he thought her home was a safe place. We love you as a teacher. They want to spend time with you. And you say they can come. You opened your door. Your son is an abuser. He has abused. If he has done it to 2 girls, who's to say he has not done it to 3 others? And I come to you and tell you, this is what your child is doing. You do not investigate. You do not ask. You blatantly said, it's not true. What do you think is the reason behind turning a blind eye? to situations like this, to topics like this? Is it because you're going to shame my family, or do you know? And like the movie I watched where the son is like psychotic killer,
yeah.
and he said, okay, this is what helps my son. Let me clone more people for him to kill in order to treat him. That didn't make any sense. So why exactly do they turn a blind eye? Anyone can take it.
I personally feel that, okay, this is my opinion. First of all, I think that the reporting system should be a bit more, open. Parents should know how to report such cases, because I personally will not go to that parent because I know for sure that she will deny it. It's a natural motherly instinct.
Why? Why is it a motherly instinct to deny something like that? Let me ask the question again. Why should that be a motherly instinct to shield your child when your child is a perpetrator of
She's
this?
not in my opinion, she's not shielding. She just believes it's not true.
It's not, yes.
It's just not
Most
true.
of the time.
Why? Because it's not true.
I don't understand.
Because she didn't, did she see the child doing it? It's just you saying my child stole. The first thing I'm going to tell you, what did she steal? How did she steal? All right.
It's shielded because if you check, that mother maybe went back to actually try to investigate and find out that it was true. But because for some reason, I don't know.
At the point of the confrontation, she's naturally going to say it's not true.
Why? I'm
It's
still
not true.
asking, why? You get my
Because
point.
it's not true.
You were not there.
Yeah.
Somebody came to Leah. You can also always say, I will look into it. That is a different conversation entirely. That's a different, it's not true, it's dismissal. Yeah. My son can never do such a thing. Get out of this place. It's dismissal. Mm-hmm. Okay, I hear you.
They also buttress it with the fact that I know him. I know what he's capable of doing. He cannot do it. Okay? Yeah. So even if he can, that's what at least an African mother would do. All right?
But it needs to be out there that is not the proper, way to report, to handle such a case. Because you taking the case up and going to confront the parents, you're just killing the case from the beginning. I guess maybe some people don't know the right channels, but that should be,
it should never even be a process.
Yes.
Still talking about parents, I had a conversation with somebody who talked about how dismissive her mom is, not was. So as a kid, she'll try to tell the mom this and this and this, but the mom never responded. Either that or the mom was always busy or always blaming her for things. So, mommy, I was in school today and my teacher was just beating everybody. I know that you have done something wrong. Always. So she stopped talking to the mom about anything. Something like this happens. She can't go to the mom. Maybe dad is not even available. Maybe siblings are the same way. Maybe that's a family of dismissers. So how can parents now know that the child is being molested? How can they identify this?
For me, I think that if you know a child who is very bubbly and happy and all of a sudden there's something wrong, it tells. It shows in their attitude. So they could withdraw. So if you see a child who has withdrawn, I think as a parent, you have the duty to ask what is going on. Okay. Aside that, there are sometimes these children would probably that made effort in the first place to talk. Something happened. I want to talk to you. I don't even know how parents are comfortable. A child says, I want to talk to you, and you say, I'm busy. What are you doing? For me, I'm always not able to comprehend it. When the people say, I'm not able to talk to my parent because they're busy, how
I'm busy trying to put food on your table.
What food? What food? If the guy is no more, so where are you taking the food to? So I feel like our children should be one of our priorities, and communication is very important. So always, I have a son, okay? And he's a son, he's a boy. The fact that he's a boy, the way I take this sexual molestation thing, people ask me, but you are lucky now, your child is not a girl. I said, there was a time we had a story of an 11-year-old boy who had been sexually molested to the point that maggots were coming from the anus. And the parent didn't know. Okay? So these things are happening and it is out there. So as parents, you cannot be living in illusion. You can't be living like it's not happening because it is. So I talk to the way I ask this question in the school bus, who touched you? Who asked? In fact, don't even touch my child. Though. Just shush him. You cannot shush him because I tell him, and everybody say, stop talking. You say, I have the right of expression. Is your teacher? You're not in class. Who are you to tell me to stop talking? So I need my child to be confident enough to be able to assert his right. He's a 6-year-old, but the way he talks, I think is because we need to educate them. And at the same time, we also need to take responsibility. Now, that doesn't mean that when you have done all of these things, that it will still not happen. It would. But at that point, they are open enough. They are, comfortable enough to talk to you. And they know that when I talk to my mom will take action. So it's not just they talking to you, I say, and you just leave it at that. Take action. They want to see you take action as a parent. So I think that those are the things we parents can.
Yes. Okay. And, getting close to children as a parent is so important. We can't overemphasize it. That's why there's also need for adult awareness, which we also do in our organization. It's not only about children. We should also let the parents know adult awareness. This thing can happen. And, there's a case that I want to chip in. It's a sodomy case. I've handled like 2 cases of a boy child. Like what you said. It's not only when we say sexual abuse, it's not only children. We always have that mindset that is to only girls, female child. No, not like that. There's a case, on the island that, this boy is it's a case that always touched me when time I remember it. Is an orphan that they brought from the East, when he lost the 2 family and the family, African society, who will pick this one? They are 5 in numbers and, mom and, aunt pick him up, and because of the aunt attitude towards him, there is one neighbor in the house that now took advantage of the boy. The aunt will say that anytime this boy is with this man, he always smile, always so there's please always stay with him. And when we got the report, it was even elder sister in Port Harcourt that reached out to our organization. And, the man, even when he left the compound, he bought a phone for this boy. And the aunt does not even know that this boy is using
a phone,
Android smartphone, where he's sending, pornography, man to man. And when we apprehend him, it was even at the bus stop where we even used the boy to lure him that, okay, tell him that you are at this, I think one of the bus stop, and we, with the Orija police station team, we went there and apprehend him.
How did they find out?
Okay, thank you. It was a aunt that said that her mother, that when she had a dream that you have my property, you're not taking care of the boy well. That thing I can never forget. She dreamed that her sister came to in a dream. And that day, that faithful, she said that she just saw the boy at the wall talking. She felt that maybe the boy was talking to, like maybe he called the boy's name. That's when the phone dropped. The boy refused to open. He's like, okay, if you are, she took the phone to all this and they now improvised and opened. That's why they saw everything. When he was in the house, he has been molesting this boy. Through the end also, because we took the boy to Warif, Warif women at risk. They have a medical center in Yaba, So we took there, and the medical report also confirmed all what is. It was so terrible. And the boy, when we scheduled the boy for therapy, we realized that it's not that he's enjoying it actually because of the money. But the aunt is the aunt is not really taking care of the boy. There's a way. Well, there's a way you will take care of your own child, and when it's not your child, we have some guided that are
Perfect.
nice, yes. But some people, they are not. Reverse is the case. It's one of the cases
That's touching.
honestly,
This is just sending shivers.
I can stay here and we talk about cases here and there. It's really.
The truth is that
I'm sorry.
a lot of people have to realize that the responsibility of having a child or taking care of a child is beyond just putting food on the table or sending them to school. And you asked the question, how would you know? The truth is that there's always a change. So it's parenting is a scientific thing, because you have to, there's no level of paranoid that is not safe, especially when you live in a community or in an environment where you cannot control. In the sense that you have, other people coming in, and, I have 2 girls, and it's funny because they can't go on holiday without me going with them. No matter who you are. I'm not joking. It's like that. No matter who you are. Uncle cannot call and say, let these girls come over. And I'm like, okay, nice. Flight ticket for 3 people. Sincerely.
Let's go together.
We're going together. And it has to be in my, my schedule has to be cleared. You cannot be paranoid enough, because we have very... God.
Let me read this response. This is still from a male. And he said, it is quite more personal because my abusers were men. At the time, I was in boarding school. In Nigeria, seniors would get you in the dark and do unprintable things to you in the name of protecting you from others. Meanwhile, they use the element of fear to control you from reporting them. Boarding school. I know many are products of boarding schools and they would swear by it. These boarding schools, I don't really want it like that. I'm asking this because I really want to know. I've heard people say, never in my life will I take my child. Is it my child? We'll sit down in the house together. You go to a day school together, because the abuse that have come out of boarding schools, and the people in charge, they really do not care.
Well, I went to a boarding school, right? And I went to a girls only school. Now, I would say that foundation is the major thing. Foundation. When I mean foundation, I mean your home. See, I was raised by a very involved father. And he, so I had all I could. He had told me, I was in just 1 at the age of 10. And he had told me the things I should envisage. Like, he prepared me. And in fairness, I got to school and I saw it. Like, I saw life in another dimension. So boarding school, for me, I think that right now is overrated. At that time, it was overrated, but it was the thing that was in vogue. And if your child had not gone to boarding school, it's like you've not done well in this.
Yeah,
at the time. So everybody that was what was trending. Every parent, at least the middle class parents, were taking their children to boarding house. So I'd say it has its disadvantages, it has its advantages. The advantages are the fact that a child will be independent to a reasonable extent because you're taking care of yourself. You are immediately, you have responsibilities. You're not relying on anybody to be taken care of.
Can't you achieve that in university?
That's too long a time.
not just that. Actually, independence can be taught in several ways. It doesn't have to be boarding school.
I didn't attend a boarding school. Yeah. But in uni, I was on my own, sort of.
Now, is like I said, it has its advantages. It has its disadvantages.
So the advantage that you have told me, number one is the independence. Tell me another advantage.
Okay, so when you're talking about, there are a lot of things. This independence you're talking about is in different way. In boarding house, you are time conscious. Everything has to do with time. You're on schedule. You cannot just do it because 2:00 you have to be this. The discipline is there. So all of those things, let me tell you, you kind of alternative to the benefit of boarding house. Right now, I cannot take my child to a boarding house.
Why?
Never.
Okay, and even if I would, not a girl, not
Why?
a single sex.
Why? Tell us.
Because times have changed.
Can you please? I'm serious. Tell me why you would not. You attended boarding school.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you take your child to a boarding school?
First of all, right, the caliber of teachers we had at the time are different from what we have now.
Mhm.
Now, teachers then, not like they were not even perpetrating some of these things we're talking about, but they, to a reasonable extent, are more decent than the kind of teachers we have right now. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, I am from Ekiti State. I schooled in Kwara State. It takes how many kilometers for my parents to drive down in case of any emergency?
Okay.
I can't do that now. I can't do that now. I have to be in the same jurisdiction with my son. Okay. And aside that, the things I saw.
What did you see?
Okay, let's talk about same-sex thing and all of that. It's happening right in secondary schools.
It started
Live.
then, yes.
It started there. All right. And they gave it a lot of names. Like I said, I went to a girls' only school. Then we say lovers. You have school sisters. You have school daughters. You
But
have
they're
school
all
mothers.
practicing.
And the things they do in the name of my school sister, my school, secondary school children have feelings. They have urges. And they will exhibit it in different form and shape. Okay? And you see, the guardians we had were not in the hostels with us. The guardians at the end of the day go home to their own families. Then the senior student are supposed to be looking after the junior student. Okay? They call them prefects and all of those things. At the end of the day, those ones are even the perpetrators. And you cannot report them. So to a reasonable, it's like the norm. So nobody can talk about it, and it is happening. And so when you now see this whole same-sex situation like being in vogue right now, it's been in the days when the media was not even talking about
and
it.
the truth is, just to add to what she has said, why I cannot, I have a daughter in secondary school, and now we're in two different ages. They are in the information age, so they have so much knowledge. There are things that my daughter knows now that I didn't know until maybe first year in university. But she knows them. She knows how to react. She knows how to, respond to such situations. But I didn't know. I learned by experience. I learned by, trying to, this is how you should respond. But they're in the information age. They know, they've heard this thing either on social media or, in one awareness class or the other, or, so the fact that there is so much information out there for these children, and they are not in the age where they are able to dissect and, churn it out properly. They find avenues to be able to either practice such or, so I cannot allow my child going as a test thing in any way for any other child. It's
True. You're not going
But
to
even aside
experiment on my kid.
aside the sexual thing part of boarding house, if you look at the food they eat these days, I mean, when you hear these things happening on social media, how schools are treating kids, and you are paying huge sum of money for so
really do
less
not
a
understand
value.
that.
So for me, it's a no right now. But would I say I didn't like boarding house?
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
As a junior school, I didn't. As a junior student,
Yes,
I
because
didn't.
we were bullied.
The moment we are approaching the school like this, and I'm seeing the fence of that school, my heart is doing.
I went to a military school, so in fact, violence was allowed.
You get it. But as a senior student, I enjoyed it because I had privileges. I would not wash toilets. I would not do some things, So I enjoyed it at that point. So.
Okay. Let's just talk about the legal options for victims of child molestation. You are a lawyer.
Yeah.
Tell us about the options victims have, parents have,
Mm-hmm.
and what the law says that the punishment is.
Okay.
Let's put the fear of God into some people.
Okay, so importantly, right, as a child or as a parent whose child has been victimized in one way or the other, the first thing is reporting, right? Report. If you cannot report to the nearest police station, get helplines online, like his organization. Call. They will definitely come to your rescue. And importantly, report within the reasonable time, 72 hours.
Why is that important?
Because medical examination is going to be carried out. And if you do not report within 72 hours, they probably will not get what they need to ascertain whether this person indeed has been molested or not. Now, this is tied down to maybe defilement and rape. Okay? So the 72-hour window is very, very important. So when you get to the police station will definitely refer you to the medical center for that examination. Because without it, they can't prove anything in court. So it's very essential. Another thing, the moment they ascertain that, yes, this child has been defiled or raped, the matter is charged to court. And that brings me to what she had mentioned earlier about the justice system itself. So when the matter is charged, that's not the end of that case, because a lot of victims thinks that's the end. That person would leave the web if you do not come and testify in court. So the onus is on you as a witness, maybe the parents that are caught them in the act, somebody, because for you to establish that this thing has happened, you need evidence. The evidence, one of it is the medical report. Another thing is, if there is an eyewitness that has witnessed the situation, come and testify as to how the whole thing played out. The victim herself is going to be in court to also testify. So it is important for them to come to court. If you don't come to court, after a period of time, the court is going to strike out that case, because the person cannot be left in prison while you have refused to come and do your own duty to ensure that justice is served. So it's a two-way thing.
Okay.
So as the victim, aside you now testifying, when you have done all of testified, the judge would pronounce, based on the evidence before it, pronounce its judgment. Now, the law says for criminal code, it is life imprisonment. For you laughed. You smiled, right? It is life imprisonment, but it's a long journey. It's not something you're going to get to in 1 year most of the time.
Be patient.
All right. So that also deters the victim from coming, because they get tired. And don't forget, aside the legal side of things, they're also trying to heal from the psychological part. So most of the time, they get tired of coming to court.
Yeah.
Because it's like you're opening the wound all over again. When you now tell me to come to court and tell you all that's happened, maybe I've been attending therapy and I'm trying to put it behind me. Then I come to court and I'm talking about it all over again. It's like it's bringing it back to your memory. So some of this victim refuse to come because of that. But I think that regardless of that, please do come, because if you don't and that guy gets off the hook, he's going to look for his next victim.
Now, what if this? You said this one is mainly for rape.
Yeah.
What of attempt? You didn't succeed in raping this person, but every time you see this person, you're always trying to,
Yeah, the law also provides for that. There's an attempt to rape. That's
Okay.
also a crime, and it's 14 years imprisonment. And the penal code also, because we have criminal code and penal code. Criminal is for the southern part of Nigeria, and the penal code is for the northern part of Nigeria. And even though child marriages are going on, their law also comes against child defilement and rape and all of that. So that's the law is also like the punishment is also life imprisonment.
Okay.
We also have the VAP Act, that's Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act. That law also gives 12 years to attempted defilement of a child. Life imprisonment for rape itself. Then we also have Child Rights Act. It also gives life imprisonment. So we have laws in place in Nigeria. Our issue is just implementation. Let us implement these laws, right? We have even the Cybercrime Act, because some, like what you mentioned, when you are sending pornographies to children, it's a crime, and it attracts about 10 years imprisonment.
So that one,
under the Cybercrime Act.
Much. You have the evidence,
right? Cybercrime Act. So you have that. So if you cannot nail the person for rape or defamation, you can nail them for cybercrime.
So I saw an episode of Grey's Anatomy, and in that episode, a lady was raped. She went to hospital, and they advised her to just do the exam and store it. In case, she said she cannot talk about it now. They said, okay, if you cannot talk about it now, do it and keep it with the hospital so that when it's time, you can tender that as evidence. Is that really a thing? Is that applicable?
It is. So our criminal code says you must report within a period of time. I think about 2 months or so, you have to make that report. Now, if you are making the report without this medical examination you're talking about, it might be hard for you to eventually substantiate that allegation. But recently, this 2024, the First Lady, that's Remi Tinubu, brought a bill that they should extend the period within which you can prosecute. Because some people are not able to, ready at that point of the crime to prosecute. So you can say, okay, I don't want to prosecute yet. In another 2 years, when I'm balanced, I'm ready, I'll come back. Now, that has not been passed to law, but there is a bill on it.
Okay. All right. So we've been talking about child molestation, and it's in its entirety. It's large, it's plenty, but we have to put a pin on it here. The action points are simple. Say something. Tell somebody, right?
Yeah.
Open up. If you don't want to talk to your parents, talk to somebody. We had a guidance and counseling person in school back then. But I don't really know what she was doing like that. So find somebody you can talk to. And you see that person said, okay, even the cleric, that she cannot even get close to one because of that. 2, parents, do not dismiss your kids. Let them talk, let them express themselves. And if you see any sign, speak up. 3, if your child is accused of being an abuser, don't dismiss it. I know that the motherly, this thing will come up, but don't dismiss it. Just investigate it. Find out, because we know that no people finish. Also, you can always report. You can always report it to the police or anybody. Take it up. You can get a loss. There are people whose job is to take it up. We're going to put the information, out there so that you can find a way to express yourself. Is there anything that I missed?
To add to what she said, and we should also know that all these medical centers, especially I know of Lagos, Mirabel Center, we have to say it out here, Mirabel Center at last, Lagos State Teaching Hospital is for free, like FREE, free. And what if Women at Risk Foundation is at Yaba? If it happens within that 72 hours, you can walk in there, and they are not requesting for your money. Even if you don't have money, they will still support. I've seen what if that survivors go there and they say, we can't go back home. They still support this stipend. So this medical center, I also just want to say that the police has a lot to do. If a case will get to court or not, they have the power, especially, and they need a lot of training. You get to some police station, they will say, what are they abusing? I've witnessed it. You just have to be looking at them. What is in your body that they want to, police. If where you feel that I will get justice and
they're
dismissing you, what do you now expect? So they have a lot of work to do. So that's what
Yes, please let us put our ears down and our eyes open to spot any kind, and see there's nothing in an underage child. There's nothing appealing in an underage child. Thank you very much for watching Africa Tech Radio. And thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.